Ladies and gentlemen, the NBA has been going off in the scrimmages, but still, as a Chicago Bulls fan, there is still not so much to be excited about. But we have some news based on some potential trade offers and maybe even a new player coming into the Bulls within next season. There's so much more to discuss. What's going to happen? Let's find out right now. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a Chicago Bulls update video. I made one not so long ago, but since then till now, there has been some decent rumors that could potentially change the way that the Bulls look at their free agency options or maybe even the future of the franchise. So before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments if you'd like to see any more Chicago Bulls related videos, any NBA related videos, and what you guys think about the Chicago Bulls future if nothing gets traded or changed. So without further ado, let's get into the first topic of discussion, and that is going to be about Zach Lavine. Now, Zach Lavine has been in the news recently due to some trade rumors. Now, it's been rumored by a bunch of Chicago Bulls outlets that potential disgruntledness from Zach Lavine for the keeping of Jim Boylen could potentially see him getting traded to a variety of teams. Now, the two teams that are in focus at the moment are the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets. Both New York teams are looking to acquire Zach Lavine. Now, keep in mind, this is not official news. This is just rumors. It's not like Woj posted it or anything like that, but this is just a rumor. So that's why I want to get this out as quickly as possible so no one comes at me saying it's a lie, it's not true. It's just a rumor, and I'm going to give what I think now. So if I'm looking at the way that this is happening, it depends on what the teams are willing to give up for Zach Lavine. Now, the New York Knicks are in a very special predicament at the moment because they are the front runners to getting one of the top 4 picks, which could potentially change the Bulls franchise if we were able to acquire one of them. Plus, we have our own pick at number 7. So I think if we were willing to trade Zach Lavine, the best place to trade him is probably the New York Knicks. Now, with the Brooklyn Nets, there are good players out there that we could acquire. Obviously, we're not going to get Kyrie or KD. We're probably going to get the level of likes of maybe a Jared Allen and a Spencer Dinwiddie or a player like that would come in and help us instantly, but is obviously not as prolific as Zach Lavine. Now, it all depends on what you guys want out of this thing, out of what we're getting out of Zach Lavine. Me personally, I think the New York Knicks is a much better offer because we might even get a player with that pick. And in the end, I feel like that's a little bit more helpful to the future of the Chicago Bulls, whereas Jared Allen and Spencer Dinwiddie, as good as those players are now, will they be here long term? We can't really guarantee that. So in the end, we're looking for long-term assets as a long-term team looking to rebuild and go up further in the ranks of the NBA. And I just don't see the Brooklyn Nets being able to offer us a lot that could potentially do that for us. Maybe Jared Allen is a good player. He's relatively young. He could offer us something for multiple years, but will he stay long-term? I just don't really know the answer to that question. So in the end, if you're wanting for my personal opinion, I don't want Zach Lavine to get traded at all. I don't know why Zach Lavine is in the trade rumors again. It seems like it's every year Zach Lavine has a bunch of trade rumors just sparkling up. None of them really mean anything, but there it is, man. It's always Zach Lavine that gets in the trade rumors. Now, what makes this relatively worrying is because they've linked it to Jim Boylen, and we don't know the future of Jim Boylen as well. That again is a rumor. I talked about that in the last video, but Zach Lavine, in relation to Jim Boylen, it's a very weird relationship that they have. You could almost tell that I don't think both the coach likes the player and the player likes the coach. I don't think they're on bad terms, but I don't think they suit very well together, and I think they reflect that sometimes. With Zach Lavine's interviews, with Jim Boylen's interviews, you can kind of tell they're on a professional basis and they don't really care for each other outside of the game of basketball. At least that's what I think. But down the line, if this is going to be a problem, then I do not see how Jim Boylen staying here means more than Zach Lavine staying here. We've already seen that Larry Markkinen wanted change in the front office, and he's got a lot of that change. But is Jim Boylen not part of that change as well? Zach Lavine as well. Everybody's talking about Zach Lavine getting traded because he's not happy with this Jim Boylen staying. Down the line, don't you think that that should matter if your star player is concerned about the future of the franchise? What about Daniel Gafford? Daniel Gafford's talked recently about Jim Boylan, saying that he's okay, he has a lot to work on, but he's not the best. What does that mean? That's the future of the Bulls and Daniel Gafford as well. He's a very young and upcoming player. So why are these things happening to us? Why are these players so upset that Jim Boylan is staying? And why is that not being a message to the Chicago Bulls that they might have to make a move regardless of their financial situation? I don't really know. To be honest, I can't give you that answer. My personal opinion is I don't think Zach Lavine's going to go anywhere. So just bear that in mind. But those are the rumors that have been coming out over the last few days. And I feel like I needed to give it a good topic of discussion because it is our star player that's being in the news. That's our best player. That's the player that I think 75 to 80% of Bulls fans do not want to leave Chicago. There's clear upside in Zach Lavine. He's gotten better and better every season. And the man's still extremely young and he's on a very, very good contract. I don't see how letting him go for anybody will make any sense. But if there is a potential place that Zach Lavine has to go, then I really think New York is the way to go and we get their pick. And then maybe we have 2 picks and that will benefit the Chicago Bulls and probably benefit the New York Knicks as well. But I don't see that happening, to be honest. And I definitely don't see the Brooklyn Nets one happening either. So let's just see where things go. I just hope Zach Lavine remains a Bull. I just don't see this being the right time to trade him. Maybe down the line, but definitely not now. I don't think this is the best time at all. Now, going into the next piece of news and the final piece of news of this episode, Mr. Isaiah Thomas, Mr. Fourth Quarter himself, has been just talking to a lot of media outlets about how he would like to play for the Chicago Bulls. Now, the interesting thing is, weeks after he said that, he's training with a bunch of Bulls players. Now, what does that say? What do you guys think about this? Now, it's not been confirmed that we're going to go and sign Isaiah Thomas. It's not confirmed that we have a player that we possibly need coming to the team, but it looks very likely that Isaiah Thomas could be a Bull, as he's spoken about how much he would appreciate playing for the Bulls, how much he would love to play for the Bulls. Then all of a sudden he's training with some of our players. That doesn't happen. That usually doesn't happen. You don't go training with teams that potentially you could be signing with if there's not a link that he could potentially join. That just doesn't happen, in my opinion. So I'm going to go into what I think about Isaiah Thomas. Now, I'm a little bit suspect on this deal. It's ups and downs for me, because what Isaiah Thomas brings to this game is fantastic, to be honest. I love the way Isaiah Thomas plays. He will be a great offensive threat, and I feel like sometimes when we need someone that's not Zach Lavine to score the ball, it's always good to bring in Isaiah Thomas because he is a fantastic scorer of the ball. We have Kobe White, who will also get some competition for that spot. But defensively is the big question here. We are known to be one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. Bringing Isaiah Thomas doesn't necessarily fix that. But what Isaiah Thomas does bring, and what I can possibly and always imagine when he plays on our team, the hustle, determination, the love and passion. We bring these out of players. We bring that out of players. And representing Chicago and having that mentality is always a great thing. And I feel like a lot of fans will really, really, really appreciate what Isaiah Thomas brings to the team. And I've had a few discussions with this with a couple of my friends. And yeah, maybe he's not the best player to bring into this team, but what he gives you is definitely what the team needs. He gives you all of those qualities that you're looking for. We saw it with Boston when he played for Boston. We've seen it with other teams as well. Yes, he's not that Boston player anymore. He's not Mr. Fourth Quarter. He's not the guy that's going to average 30 points for you. But what he does bring is a good scoring option. He brings passion for the game. He has something to prove, and he loves the team. So in the end, he's going to go to an environment where the Bulls will trust him and Isaiah Thomas will trust us. And I think this could potentially be a very, very good relationship that might not only revive his career, but maybe elevate him beyond what his stock is now, because people are giving him minimum contracts. And I think Isaiah Thomas is still out on the mission to disprove that he's worth a minimum contract. And maybe the Bulls will give him that opportunity to go and do so. In the end, this is going to be a great signing in terms of the offensive threat. If we can outscore opponents, then I think Isaiah Thomas is going to be a perfect acquisition. But if we're looking for a more defensive team, a team that can do everything on the court, then maybe Isaiah Thomas is not the best. But I still think for his size, he tries very hard defensively. Don't get me wrong. But that's just how I think. So to answer the question, I would love Isaiah Thomas on the Chicago Bulls. I could definitely picture him on the Chicago Bulls, and I can definitely see the Chicago Bulls fans loving this guy, just like they love Zach Lavine and Kobe White and Lowry, Wendell, all these young players that have a future. We're going to love the qualities that Isaiah Thomas brings. Now, let me know what you guys think about Isaiah Thomas. It's going to be very interesting to see if he will end up signing for the Chicago Bulls. It's only a rumor at this point. We know he's been training with a few of our players, but he has not officially signed for the Chicago Bulls, nor is he necessarily linked to us, but that's just a big thing, man. It doesn't really happen where you go and train with a team that you're not interested in signing in, or if the Bulls are not interested in signing Isaiah Thomas. We've also had past experience with Arturas bringing IT to give him a chance to play in Denver. Unfortunately, that didn't work out because I'm pretty sure Isaiah Thomas was injured for a relative period of time, and then he ended up leaving. So maybe this is the second chance. Arturas brings Isaiah Thomas back to his side. That brings faith, man. That's a level of faith that I think Isaiah Thomas will really pay back. And I'm looking forward to it if it does happen. And again, it's a signing that's going to help us, and it's a signing that's going to be relatively cheap as well. It doesn't affect what we're going to plan in free agency over the periods of years, however many years that we're aiming to get a superstar, if that ever happens. But we at least have to try, and that's not going to interfere with it as well. I think business-wise this makes sense, and on the court, I feel like he will bring us something, and that's all you can ask for, really. So that's going to be the end of this video. Not a long video. Chicago Bulls are still relatively less things to talk about than the other average sport that other people are interested in, but the NBA as a whole is getting really close to the beginning of the actual season again. So all these scrimmages are going to, as much as they're fun, they don't mean much when it comes to the start of the season. So we're going to see the playoffs come soon, and maybe we have to make more videos on the playoffs. Maybe, just maybe, I gotta pull out some more NBA videos. If you guys want to see it, please let me know. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace.